a big hello and welcome to my show UnBound. I'm your host Mamtaa, a space curated for real stories of people from different walks of life who have sailed through uncharted waters and lived to tell their inspiring story. UnBound is a deep dive into their journeys to unravel, unearth, uncover various facets of their lives as they remain unstoppable and continue to do the unthinkable. As they open up about their life with me, I'm sure you will find nuggets of wisdom to live unbound too. So let's unbound together. Today, I have with me a relentless person whose life mantra has been not only to survive, but to thrive. Taking her challenges head on, she herself is a proof of life. A freelance website developer, food blogger, baker, and an aspiring YouTuber herself. Welcome, Navjyoti Kaur, to my podcast, Unbound. First, we want to know about who Navjyoti Kaur is when she was a girl. How did she find her beginning? What dreams, what aspirations that you really grew up with?
Very humble beginnings because we were uprooted from Pakistan in 1947. My grandfather came here with nothing, and whatever government gave them, they settled with that. My father was married at 23. We were three daughters, and then finally they had a son, as it goes in patriarchal society. I was the first one in the whole Khandan to get out of the small town and be in the big city and study. And eventually, as life went on, I just moved forward and came here and settled in Canada. We all have challenges in life, so there were few challenges on the way that we carry with us, and what life is but resolving and going through those challenges while keeping your head up.
Absolutely, very well said. So tell us a little about the pursuits, hobbies, and passions, and how did you really make your professional launch? And when you say you came from a small town, which city, which state was this really?
I came from Haryana, Yamunanagar. Jagadri is a twin city. We are actually from the village near Jagadri, which is called Milk Sukhi. But I was born in Bombay. My dad was in Navy. So I was born in Bombay actually and was there for a few years of my life. And then we moved to the village and then to the small city. My parents always thought where we can go to get what we can get for best for our kids, be it education or environment or how we live. So for them, it's a step up from moving from village to town. And from there, I went on and did MCA in Amity in Noida, met my husband there, got married. And then I was working in HCL for 2 years. And that's when recession hit and they were laying off people left, right, and center. And there was actually nothing for me to do there. And then I thought, I cannot do this anymore because it was boring as hell to go there every morning in traffic and come back without doing anything. There was no fulfillment in doing anything there. On a whim, I just left that corporate job and I started doing freelancing. And one of my dear departed friend, Johnny Malhotra, he helped me set up my own business for freelance projects. And I did that for almost a decade. And until I started realizing that this is not what I want to do. But as I see my life, I always did things differently because when I started freelancing 2007, it was something that nobody heard about because now everybody is freelancing. But back then it was a really difficult task for me to explain to my parents and to everybody what I'm doing with my time. But I am really grateful for the experience I had because I had clients all over the world. I was talking to many different people from different cultures. And it was actually a very cool experience for me to be independent in that way, owner of my own time. So that was really empowering for me at that time.
Very interesting, Jyoti. I mean, the way that you have laid out your whole life trajectory from Bombay back to a small town, then back to a big city, then wanting to make it big in a corporate, quitting it, and then being on your own as a self-employed person, that too 2 decades back. I mean, hats off to you how you pulled and where you've come. So we would like to understand what have been some of your life transforming moments or certain challenges or some wisdoms or inspirations from where you've actually seen there is point of no return for you. So what makes you unbound?
I realized this like 2, 3 years ago that I was never conscious when I was doing all these things. The society plans a trajectory for your life, and it is same for everybody, which is get good education, be dutiful to your parents, get a good job, get married, have kids, and then concentrate on your kids' life, and then you like so forth. This is how your life's supposed to go. But for me, my life was, now I understand, it was designed for me to realize all these things. Otherwise, there is no way that you can think this way. I would say my spiritual awakening started 2 decades ago when I left my home and I just was independent working unconsciously, and then got married. And because now you are married, you need to get pregnant in certain time, so I was a very dutiful daughter-in-law wife. So I never saw my mother do it, like think about herself. So I never thought about myself. I was just a tool or a way for other people to get something or to keep a structure alive. So I started my journey with my fertility, infertility, without ever focusing on myself. It was always about the end product, which was a kid. So I started that, and whoever is going through infertility journey right now, they know how crazy it is these days, because you will see IVF clinics everywhere now. There is a shift in our bodies happening because of all the toxins and all the technology and everything that we are exposed to right now. There are like multiple layers of things that is happening right now. I struggled for a decade to get like have a baby. There are like multiple things. There is IUI, there is medicated cycles, there is IVF, which is the ultimate thing that you can do, which I did. I'm very grateful to be in Canada because government here pays half of your IVF treatment for the first time. But there was no right mindset. There was no guidance from doctors. I felt like they set me up for, not for failure, but if you fail, it's a very, very bad crash for you, because there is no management of your expectation. There is no knowledge that they impart to you, or they never talk about the mental aspect of the whole procedure. So, because nobody's talking about the mental aspect of these things, you never think about going online and type in that if I'm feeling like this and why I'm feeling like this. Every month is a disappointment for me, and I am in that cycle all the time. And then finally, when my last IVF cycle was a success and I got pregnant, for 6, 7 weeks, I was very happy. Happy, but not really, because I was not letting myself feel the happiness, because I thought if I will get happy, I will lose it. So I was very tense and stressed throughout those 7 weeks, and then finally I lost it. So once I went through that experience, things started to shift for me, because I started to get angry from that state of being like helpless and feeling like there is an injustice going on with me. I elevated my emotions to anger. And when I started getting angry, I was angry at everybody and myself. And then, because Navjyoti never got angry in her life about anything, so it was a shift in itself. And finally, things start happening where I realized that I cannot keep on living like this, the way I was living.
I hear you, Navjyoti, completely, and I really salute the courage that you have brought along with you to be on this show today with me and talk about such a deeply personal aspect of your life. Not many people can even gather half the strength. But just moving back a little in your story, where did and how did you come to a point and a consensus within yourself that now is the time for some other intervention to happen, because this process is not going as per the natural cycle? And there, coming from a small town, how easy or difficult, and I'm sure this must have been a great deal of challenge in its own self, how did this whole journey unfold for you?
It was not like a switch that turned on. It was like many, many days of confusion, and trusting myself and what I'm feeling. Whatever you're feeling in this moment, you're also carrying feelings from other moments in your life. So, being the eldest daughter, my father was in Merchant Navy, so he was not there. So, my mother was like a single parent for quite a few years. So, a lot of responsibility falls on to the eldest in the family to look after your siblings and help mom in doing that. I was talking to her the other day that I did this, I did that. You never said that I helped you. And she was like, You never helped me. And I was a little shocked. Like, I thought I really helped you when you were not at home because we were four siblings. So I was the eldest. So I'm taking care of everybody. I'm cooking for them. I'm not looking after my needs, but I'm looking after their needs. And then it's a thankless job because siblings don't, they don't think that you are anybody to tell them what to do when mom is not at home. But I had to do it because that's what she needed me to do at that point. But now then she says, there's nothing that you help with. So my husband gave me this insight that maybe whatever you did is not a help in her mind. You thought that you were helping her, and she thought that it is what you need to do. And my father leaving every few 6 months, my father is a loving person. He was, whenever he was at home, it was like best days of our lives. But when he used to leave every 6 months, it was quite a lot of trauma for us, of abandonment and everything. So even if when we have a good life and everything, this part of life is not good. But we don't focus on that part of mind part of life. We focus on the physical part of life, which is us living in a big home and having everything that we need, but not having a father there for your other needs. That is, they chose to have things instead of time with us, which is okay because they did what they did, but it also made me what I am right now, which is not asking for help, not thinking that I deserve to rest, not thinking that I can think about myself. Self love is something you lack one when people don't listen to you, or in your growing up years you are taught to not love yourself but to love others and take care of others. So when I lost this kid which I really wanted, and it was, बोलते नहीं है कि धरती फट जाती है, like it was a big trauma for me to lose that. And that anger came up, and with that this thing came up that nobody cares about me, and I started noticing everybody doing thing what they are doing around me. And then started feeling this, that they're saying that they love me and they can feel my pain, but not really. It's my pain. Nobody can feel my pain. Because they will say, random friends who got to know that, because we were happy, we told them that we are pregnant. So when they got to know that I miscarried, they just said, it's okay, hota hai, chalta hai, ho jayega, koi baat nahi. Matlab, everybody was washing over my pain. And I was not okay receiving all those phone calls, and then completely shut myself off. I have a good support system now because I made it, but back then I had no support system. I offended my mother in that rage of emotions, and she never came back because she thought that I'm being rude to her. So everything put focus on this thing that if you are not taking care of yourself, nobody else will take care of yourself. Everybody wants you to be a certain way for them to feel good. So for you to ask for things is difficult because you're taught. But then I realized that I'm taught to not feel bad about my situation. I've always washed over my things, that it's okay. But this time it really broke something in me. And it started spiritual like awakening in me, where like my perspective changed about life and everything else. So with support system, I started voicing my needs with everybody, like I want this, I want that. And it was a really difficult period for everybody to adjust around me because nobody was used to Navjyoti like this.
So, what were some of your biggest challenges while you were uncovering yourself bit by bit? And of course, you said that coming out and seeking help and looking out for yourself and self identifying that you need self love as much. But were there certain fears that you had to really conquer over before you came to this point?
I'm so grateful that universe wanted me to wake up, so everything was lined up for me. There's a timeline that May I got pregnant, June, July miscarriage, and August, September तक मुझे सब लोग बोल रहे थे you should move on, it's okay.
At Unbound, we believe in the power of unhinged minds and untamed ideas of people from all walks of life. As we sit to talk with some of them, we are listening to your voice too. So, share your ideas, thoughts, or takeaways from this podcast as a review on Apple Podcast, or just drop us a message on Instagram at the rate d.mamtaa. That is at the rate d.mamtaa. You can also mail us at unboundwithmamta@gmail.com. And remember to subscribe and follow this podcast and stay connected with us.
So I was not even given 6 months to grieve this thing. Everybody was telling me to move on and shattered inside. But I was like, I have to move on. I cannot be like this. So August, September, I have my birthday. So we went somewhere to celebrate because I wanted to feel normal. But I was not feeling normal. And then October came and my husband got a job. So he had to leave for 5 months away from me. And this was first time in so many years that we were away and nobody was with me during that time. So I got like a lot of time to think about things without anybody interrupting my thought. And it also brought up a lot of things that I would cry all day because nobody was there to see me. I would not clean the house. I was watching myself do all these things. There was a presence that was arising in me during that time. So it was not just me doing things, it was somebody, like I was watching myself do all this. And then I realized that I'm very codependent on my husband. I cannot even, my mood is so bad without him because he's not here. And then this question started arising in me. If you're so dependent on so many people, like who are you? Like this question, who are you? Why are you doing this? When these questions come in your being, there is no way that you can ignore it. And I started thinking about my personality, how I am. There was self-reflection that was ignited in me. And I realized where I was wrong. I realized where I was being petty. I realized where I was being painful for other people. And the self-reflection, when you start, it gives you so much insight into your life and what things were your own doing. It was difficult because we are basically animals and we live in a society and we want company and we want people to love us, like us, and say, yes, yes, you are agreeable. But when you start voicing your opinion and what you want and start asking for things and saying, no, मैं ये नहीं बर्दाश्त करूंगी. Like I started creating boundaries with people and I had this fear that once I will start making boundaries, I will lose people from my life. And that did happen. I lost few friends. I lost few relations. Yes, it was a lot of fear for me of abandonment, especially with my husband, with my parents, with my in-laws. But thankfully, when you start looking at your life with gratefulness and abundance, you see that they are there to support you. Like you have to take chance of losing people. Whoever is yours will stay, whoever is not yours, they will go. You don't fear about losing people when you start thinking about yourself.
Wow, that's a lot of power packed in just these few words. I would want to know from you that what were some of the patterns, like you rightly started identifying and witnessing it for yourself. That of course codependence was one of them. So what were some of these strong patterns that you had to now start to break, and you had to break to come out of that shell of Navjyoti, who was probably pleasing everyone or was always living for others. So, what were those, repeated patterns which you had to go past?
These are not uncommon patterns. Everybody has these patterns in their life because we are, as I said, conditioned by our families, close people to keep us in a certain way. Because, like in a family structure, also, you want your kids to behave in a certain way because it is if they do not behave in those ways, it's not convenient for you, or things don't work in the way you want to work. So you condition your kids and you are conditioned yourself. So it's very difficult to get out of those conditioned thoughts. So when I started thinking about my life, how I am, what I'm doing with my life, and why there is so much unhappiness, I started noticing these conditioned thoughts that I have to make sure that everybody is happy with what I am doing. I have to make sure that everybody agrees with what Navjyoti wants to do in a day. So if I am sleeping past some time, and there are people who don't agree with that time, because this thing is with me that I'm a late sleeper. So in the mornings also I do not wake up early. So there are a lot of opinions about that in the whole family. Even my relatives who call me, they will ask me, like, they will not say hello, they will say like, are you awake? And it is sometimes so annoying. Like, you just say hello and I will tell you if I'm okay to talk to you or not. So these are the things that you have to look through, things that are annoying you, the things that you don't feel are okay. So you have to put your foot down. The patterns, if we talk about, it's these are the patterns that you do things to please others, and then you ignore your own needs, and then you are in a bad mood, and then you affect your own day and then life in general. So for me, the one thing that I tried to not try to I completely broke was thinking about others when I was making. If it is unrelated to them, I'm not thinking about them, I'm just doing my own thing. So I make sure everybody is happy and I do my own thing. Nothing I do is to please anybody anymore.
So, can I ask you a very straight question, Jyoti? So, this whole thing with the pregnancy, was it also somewhere a very, very influenced choice? Because was it to prove something to the society or people or families around you that you are as normal as any woman can be? And was it also that's the reason, could be so heartbreaking that okay, this is not what is expected out of me and I'm not fitting into their expectation, and now this will probably have me as a as somebody who's like an outcast. So did you sort of put all these impositions and undergo whatever you had to for such a long time, fearing this from society?
This is the thing, that I had no real fears about this. But when you don't think for yourself and you're so unconscious, when you are taught to not say your piece or think on your own, because kids are told to shut their brains and just don't think. And I was a very sensitive kid. So when I shut off for quite a long time. It's like a leaf in the river. Like, there is no direction in the life that you are taking, there is no ownership of what you are doing. Yeah, the anger is about that only, that I never thought about living a conscious life. But when I started finally living a conscious life, I realized this, that all these things that I've been doing for a decade now are not even my own thoughts. This is everything expected of me to be a good wife, a mother, a daughter. And Mamta, and the real kick is that people tell me they don't even expect anything from me. It was my own mind who was telling me that I need to do all these things to be a certain way. So yes, society tells you that if you when you get married, you have to, like in India especially, you have to be married by a certain age. Get, like, in my days back in 2000s, I don't know what is the environment right now. I hope people are more free. But back then in my culture was, you get married at a certain age and then you have kids by certain age. So when I actually had a miscarriage right after I got married, so after that my health, fertility just tanked, because I did not get the proper care, and then I had no information about what's going on with my body. So I will say it was also a fail for education system, or how we teach girls about their hormonal health. So I had no idea that something is going wrong with me. So after my first miscarriage, my the health tanked. And then 3 years passed, everybody started saying, oh, you should, the time is passing, you should start your journey. Or I didn't know that it's a journey. It was like, go to the other doctor and they will help you. So we went. So I never thought that I want a kid or not. Like, there is no conscious discussion about having kids at that time. But this was the fear was induced in me that if not now, then probably will never happen for you. So I was like, oh my God, I really want to be a mother because that's what I need to do. This is what comes back to that thing that I said, that there is a trajectory that society decides for you, that you get married and then you can have kids. So that I totally skip that part now. And skipping that part did not sit well with what are you not, you are just collection of people around you, right? Their thoughts, what they're thinking about your life, what they're telling you. There was no boundary. No, everybody used to come and give me advice and tell me how I should do things and like how time is passing. So there was a pressure that was created on me to just go through this. And when we decided to move to Canada, we put a hold on all these treatments for 1-2 years. And we started right after we settled a little bit in Canada, we started our treatment here. And same story, this pressure. And I would say the pressure is surprisingly is from not from my in-laws, it's from my own family, that they want me to have kid by a certain age, and everybody is interested in what is going on. So when you don't have boundaries, you are not only carrying your own burden, you're also carrying the burden of other people's thought, what they think about you. So this is what I'm talking about, unconscious living, where you are just in a bad mood all day and you don't know why you are in a bad mood. You know you are in a bad mood because there are energies at play putting pressure on everything you are doing. So that was my story for almost 10 years. And finally, when I realized this, that kid or no kid, I can be happy and everybody should stop. I'm still trying for people to just stop, to not to offer me more, like they come with more treatments or babajis somewhere that I should go to. And I'm like, I have no deficiency. I have no lack in my life if there is no kid. And it will happen, maybe it will not happen. I have left that on the universe now. And there is not just one way to be a mother. I have siblings younger than me. I'm mother to them. I have nieces. I'm mother to them. Everybody I meet, I talk to them with a lot of love. And I'm very conscious with everybody now. So I give a lot of love, motherly love, to everybody around me. And this is what I'm trying to like impart to my closest, that they should not be worried about me. But it seems to be a challenge for people to understand that people can, like, I can be happy even if I skip one of the stage of my life.
My God, I'm
So,
totally, totally in awe and complete respect to where you have come and the kind of understanding that and maturity with which you have, taken steps and the commitment that you have shown towards your own feelings and your own, like we all are born with the capability, which is to nurture, to love, to give. How you have explored this back in your life despite having gone through what you have. I mean, this is tremendously inspiring, Jyoti. Thanks so much for sharing such a deep and such a intimate part of your life with so much grace here. So Navjyoti, tell me what really kind of nudged you or kicked you in this spiritual quest or in this direction, while of course you were facing all this failure and trauma, but did something come as an inspiration? Did you begin to read? Did you go to counselors? Somebody sort of started showing you the way? How did it happen to you?
it's actually a lot of things. I did go to therapy. I recommend therapy 100%. Anybody who's feeling not themselves, they should definitely go to therapy. Just talk it out. There is nothing woo woo in it. It's awesome. Second thing was, people say that social media is bad, but I say it's how you use it. So once I started going more online on TikTok, Instagram, everywhere, I saw people talking about these relevant things about how your mental state is, what depression is, what anxiety is. And I started realizing that yes, I am depressed. Yes, I am anxious about my future. So I started listening to these people closely. I started listening to talks on YouTube. I did download a lot of books on on Audible. I am always listening to a book on Audible. So whatever interests you. So there are few books that I can recommend that you can go on and listen to and figure out yourself what you are and why you are here. It's amazing to start discovering yourself from your own point of view. And I just want to have real conversations with people like you. And in general, I am amazed how we only talk about weather when we meet other new people. There are no real conversations happening in our family, our siblings, our friends. I encourage everybody to start speaking about their own truth, how they feel, what they are doing that is making their life more easier and more happier. You are here means in this world, in this universe, to feel happy and to do things that are fun to you. We are actually mimicking success. Whatever we are seeing that that person is successful and he's doing that thing, we are trying to imitate them. We're not doing the things that are actually fun to us, that actually make sense to us. So we need to take chances and start doing what is good for us. And how the spiritual awakening starts, it's you have to start trusting your body, your emotions, what you feel in a day. If you are feeling bad or sad or unhappy, most of the time it is a sign for you to start therapy. Trust yourself, because people around you are saying, oh, tujhe kuch nahi hua, that does not mean you are okay. If you are not feeling okay, you're not feeling okay. You don't have to ask other people and for their approval for you to start your own journey of self-reflection and self-love.
This is superbly motivational. I mean, I never entered into this episode thinking that there will be so much for me to take away. I mean, I'm not disregarding or demeaning anything, that you have brought, but just generally when you get into a conversation, you have like it's like a preconditioned mind. You have a set of questions, and then you know that there'll be set of answers. But I really didn't have any idea that there'll be such pearls and gems coming out of it. I'm so thankful to you for bringing it up so beautifully. And you know what you just said, that we are not here to have conversations on weather, and that's what my idea of this podcast is, to bring out as many relevant conversations as we must. Things that we shy away, things that we hesitate, things that we just don't want to see in the eye, just bring them out in a very, very real way. So, quickly jumping out onto the next segment of the episode, which I also call as a rapid reflex round. So, here there is a volley of questions that I'm going to play with you, and I want your answers in not more than a word or maybe a few words. So, what are you biased towards?
Self-love, trusting yourself.
Beautiful. Books that you're currently reading?
Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer. It's an amazing book. Everybody should read it.
Okay, and what keeps your fire burning? What's that one thing that gives you a kick to wake up every morning?
Just to see the sun and live my life. Life is beautiful. We are actually in heaven, which we are misinterpreting as hell. We are actually in heaven. We just have to look around.
One thing you would like to change about our education system?
It's the left brain approach. We need to put more creative elements in the education system.
One thing you wish parents never said to children?
That they need to please other people, that they need to change themselves to please others.
Okay, one thing you wish that you knew at the age of 20?
You are on the right path. You are doing what needs to be done.
One thing you wish never existed in this world?
That's borders and religion.
Profound. One thing you wish could exist forever?
I think that's not for me to say. Creation is doing its own thing. It should do it. I am not attached to anything.
One thing you would certainly like to unlearn?
The conditioning of pleasing other people.
You start your day with?
With 15 minutes of meditation.
Your daily diet includes?
Chai. Lots of chai.
You end your day with?
With again some spiritual talks or a guided meditation while sleeping.
Okay, and what's your biggest weakness?
Oh my God, I have such a major sweet tooth, and being a baker never helps.
Gifts should be?
Gifts are, I don't know, heartfelt.
And people must?
People must be kind and gracious to each other. Give space to each other. It's okay.
All right. And what do you see accomplishing for yourself in next 5 years?
There are no earthly goals, but I do want to talk to more people and help them lead their best life.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. This was truly being unbound, Navjyoti. I mean, I can't just tell you how much I have enjoyed this conversation with you. And all I can say as we are on the closing of this episode is that whatever doesn't break you makes you stronger. I just wish that by every day you keep gaining that strength and that power, and you be the channel of that power to so many others around you. Keep slaying, keep inspiring us, girl, and thanks so much for sharing your journey with us.
Thank you so much, Mamtaa. Thank you for inviting me here. I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Truly a pleasure. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I would love to know from you what idea or insight you unboxed from today's conversation. Just drop me a message over LinkedIn or in my inbox, and remember to follow this podcast so that when the next episode drops, you can join me for yet another one too. Keep coming and keep unbounding. Till then, this is your host Mamtaa signing off.